This is the New American Media.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. My name is Brian Engelman. This is the Unhappy Hour. Special thanks to NBA scout Zach Barris. Coming up in just a second, Rob Trautman from Sports on Tap. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns. And following that, we're going to bring in Dan Johnson, founder of Panda, People Against NDAA. What is the NDAA? It says, well, you can be just indefinitely detained without charge, without trial, indefinitely for the duration of a conflict. Oh, by the way, the U.S. is now a battleground, and if there's any conflict or potential conflict or suspicion of something, you can just be disappeared. Yeah, that actually happened past, what was it, New Year's Eve? New Year's Day? New Year's Eve. Passed by President Barack Obama a couple of years ago, and they keep repeating it. Yes, let's renew this. Let's renew this. It's completely illegal, but we'll talk about that in a different place. Real quick, check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com, on youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. Click subscribe. On Facebook, search The New American Media and like our page. And follow us on Twitter. We're at American_media_. So we're just going to bounce right into this. We are jam-packed with talent today. So let's bring in Rob Trautman to talk a little bit of Browns.
Hello.
Rob, this is Brian. You are on the Unhappy Hour program. We are live. Welcome to the program. How you been, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing, Brian?
You know, I'm living the dream, but I think you might want to update our listeners. It's been a busy couple of weeks for you. Any big news?
You know what? Me and my wife had our daughter recently, and things are going great. Not getting a ton of sleep right now, but things couldn't be better right now. So we're pretty happy about that.
I would just like to say, congratulations. Everybody's healthy, I assume, and everything is starting to calm down and find a rhythm now. Obviously, no sleep, but congratulations. That's very good news.
Thanks, man.
We try to get you in.
It. She came 4 weeks early, but you know, everything's going well, and she's sleeping right now. So it's actually nice and quiet in here.
So is that a sign? What is her name? Your daughter?
Her name is Allison.
Allison. So is that a sign, kind of like the groundhog? Like if Allison comes 4 weeks early, we have 4 more years of Browns futility? Or how does that work with the groundhog thing with your daughter? Is this a good sign or a bad sign?
I'm hoping it changes their luck around a little bit with all these changes going on.
Well, hey, let's do this. If you could just take a second, introduce yourself to people again with Sports on Tap, what you do, how they can link up with you, and then I want to just kind of tear into the Browns and just this crazy couple of weeks that we've seen. It's almost like something out of Draft Day with Kevin Costner. You could see it really seems like a bit of a, not a sitcom. What am I thinking of? Like a drama. It just seems like a soap opera. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, that's what's been going on with the Browns. So, and you know, it's funny enough that when they taped that movie, they were kind of following around the front office of the Cleveland Browns, who are now exiting. So they might want to go back and re-film some things, but nonetheless.
You know, the truth is stranger than fiction sometimes. But before we get into all that, just introduce yourself to everybody. Tell them about Sports on Tap real quick and how they can connect.
Yeah, my name's Rob Trautman. I'm the host of Sports on Tap, and we're a Cleveland sports podcast. We talk about high school sports, Cleveland sports, national. Like to get everyone involved with the program. We're on Twitter at SOT Podcast. We're also on Facebook. If people want to email our show and come up with topics or be a part of our show, it's sportsontap.podcast@gmail.com. We have Josh, Ed, and Brent who are also a part of it, and we have a lot of fun getting different guests. And it's like you say, living a dream.
Absolutely, man. Well, you know, this doesn't really fit into agree to disagree. Well, that's my coming up show. I have so many guests today. I'm just running around like a chicken with my head cut off, or a Cleveland Browns front office executive with my head cut off, or castrated literally or figuratively. Anyway, this doesn't really fit into the unhappy hour is what I was trying to say necessarily. But I have a question for you because you mentioned high school sports. Do you have any idea who in the hell thought it was a great idea to take the Brunswick Blue Devils and the Strongsville Mustangs and make them not play each other on the last game of the year like they always have? Any clue?
Yeah, you're talking for football.
Yes, I'm talking for football. That was, I played on several undefeated teams, made the state championship my junior year, went to the second round. Who do we beat? We beat Massillon the first round, and then lost to Canton McKinley that won the state championship the next year when I was a senior. So, I mean, for us, we were 9-0, and then Strongsville would be 8-1 with maybe a loss to St. Ed's or St. Ignatius or something. And then we were playing for the Pioneer Conference Championship the last game of the year. We share a border. It was a huge rivalry. Who the heck screwed that up? I'm putting you on the spot. We didn't talk about this, but do you have any idea who did this and if they can fix it?
Well, I had a chance to cover the Strongsville-Brunswick game this year, and I mean it's still one of the best rivalries. And I mean you can ask anyone out there what rivalry is one of the best, and that's definitely top 5 easy. But with the conference changes, because, it was the Pioneer Conference, now it's the, I can't even think of it right now. So many different conference changes have happened with Brunswick, Strongsville, Medina. They added Hudson, which they're going, I think, a different route again. The conference changes, they talked about it, and whoever, is president or in charge of the conference decided Brunswick and Strongsville can still play, but at a different time period. And I agree with you. And there's a lot of people out this way that don't agree with, and I'm one of them, having the Brunswick-Strongsville game kind of, it's near the end of the year, but it's not the last game of the year.
No. How about Ohio State? The Ohio State Buckeyes play Indiana on the final game of the year. That is not what it's about. You play Michigan the last game of the year. Brunswick is supposed to play Strongsville. And I'll tell you what, if it comes up in the future for you, I would like to put my name into the hat. I would like you to jot my name down as a dude that would love to do an entire show about this on your channel. Yes, I just invited myself. But I need some answers, and I want this corrected. I want to talk with the person that did this boneheaded move, and I want it corrected. Ohio State plays Michigan last game of the year, period. And that's what that's what Brunswick and Strongsville are supposed to be. Last game of the year, rivals, you share a border, you don't like the look of their mini mall, they don't like the look of your strip mall, you have too much brick, oh, you don't have enough brick, yeah, well, screw you, Snobsville, oh, yeah, whatever, Brunstucky, it's a good rivalry, that's what you're supposed to have. So, in the future, I just want to plant the seed.
I would agree, and a lot of people agree with you. And I think, eventually it probably should be changed because this year was a huge year for both teams because they're both trying to make the playoffs, and they were kind of on the border. Brunswick, if they lose, isn't going to make the playoffs. Strongsville obviously needed to win and get in the playoffs. It was like a 38-35 final. Brunswick won, and I mean, it's still intense. I mean, talking to some of the former players that I graduated with, Grant Relic and, a bunch of other players that were there, they feel the same way. I mean, they can't believe it's not the last game of the season, especially with, granted, Strongsville's kind of been a little bit down. And Brunswick hasn't been, had amazing years or seasons, but at the same time, throw the records out the door when it comes to Brunswick and Strongsville. No matter what, it's going to be an intense, great rivalry game.
Exactly. Well, listen, please, just to plant the seed, if you would consider doing a show like that, maybe get the decision maker or the board of directors that are in charge of this. What is the new conference name anyway? What are they called?
I think I'm trying to think. My mind's going blank right now. It was like the North Coast.
Stupid.
Yes,
Stupid.
I can't even remember. I mean, it was.
What's wrong with the Pioneer Conference? Anyway, but listen, for a future date, it's something that's been bugging me for the past couple of years, and I've been kind of wrapped up.
I didn't notice. I haven't noticed on your passion here.
Well, I played. I busted my ass. I was ineligible my sophomore year. And I couldn't ride the team bus. I couldn't be in the team photo. I couldn't dress for games, but I was at every practice. I was on the sidelines. I had to ride out with the trainer to get to games. I came back my junior year with an all-star lineup, and I was the first alternate as a defensive end behind two all-state defensive ends, Peterson and Prohaska, that were fantastic. And then that experience helped me rock and roll my senior year. I learned how to become a winner from that franchise. I loved that experience. And just when I heard that they screwed up Ohio State versus Michigan with the Blue Devils versus the Mustangs, I couldn't understand the wisdom behind it. You don't have Michigan play Minnesota the last game. It's Michigan versus Ohio State. So yeah, I am passionate about it, and in fact, I'm so passionate that you know what I think I'm going to do, Rob? I think I'm going to split this off as its own segment, and I'm going to talk Browns on the other side because I think we just went a good solid 6 minutes talking about something that people probably might not have any idea what it is. So that'll be Brunswick versus Strongsville, and we'll get to that on the other side. My name's Brian Engelman. Check out Rob Trautman. You can find him on Twitter at SOT Podcast. That's Sports on Tap. SOT Podcast on Twitter. We'll be right back on the other side. Now we're going to talk some Cleveland Browns. I swear to you.
You are listening to the New American Media.